What's going on?
My thing's loose.
Are you just going without it, or are you just?
No, I'm trying to. I don't know. I think I need to tighten it. Continue.
Is it Allen wrenches or what is it?
Yeah.
Well, we got the two.
I had to buy a whole new set of those.
Yeah, why'd you have to buy a whole new set?
This was missing one. The
Oh, that's
one
right.
I needed. And they don't sell them individually at the
No.
hardware store.
Well, I mean, so I'm guessing you took the ones where you can pull them all out. There's also like one that's like a Swiss Army knife where it's different sizes come out like that.
I bought one of those.
That's why we have two of those now.
Okay.
I'm ready to start when you are.
This is Tommy.
This is Jacob. It's Tommy and Jacob's mixtape. All I could think about was Risky Business. And how amusing that would have been if that was what Risky Business was instead. The dancing.
Oh, at the end of this.
Yeah.
Yeah. That was very entertaining.
It would have been really funny. What's the song that plays in Risky Business? Right? Is that the right song?
Old time rock and roll.
I got this old time rock and roll.
Well, it's totally not that song.
I can't remember.
I can't
Hi,
remember.
everybody. How's everybody?
can't
A
remember
do-win.
Yes.
A
Welcome back.
do-win.
Welcome back to TJ's Mixtape. I'm Tommy. That's Jacob over there. I don't know why I faltered. We're a
The douche.
Yeah, the douche. And the douche. We are a movie review podcast. We're longtime friends that really like movies, so we review them. Talk about who made them, who's in them, kind of go over some themes and plot ideas, and then give it a rating. The rating is arbitrary, but it's for us to it's kind of more for us to solidify whether we liked it or not when we look back. Because this is now our fifth year.
I feel like we're in our fifth year, but I feel like we actually give a critic's stamp, or like we actually or whatever our rating is what we feel like as what the movie is, where it fits, because
Yeah. Do you want to do our game?
we play a movie game.
It's a movie game. We use Connect the Stars. It's a website.
.xyz.
Yeah, something like that.
You have it right in front of you. What's the
I don't know.
URL?
I haven't got my glasses yet. I got glasses
that's
coming.
right.
ConnectTheStars.x. That's my big exciting news. First prescription,
there
first
you
set
go.
of glasses.
And we're gonna figure out lights if you're wearing them. Make sure that they're not.
So when you start seeing me wear glasses, it's not just like a hipster thing. Someone finally went to the doctor and they're like, "You need glasses," and I was like, "I know. That's why I'm here."
All right, so it's
real quick. I just want to tell you this.
Oh, okay.
Really funny. So I went in, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't really, because I haven't really gotten an eye exam in forever. I forgot they dilate your eyes. So that's fun.
I didn't. Yeah.
That's always fun to deal with. But so they dilate your eyes and then do the whole testy test, check out your eyes. And then they give you a contract to sign. And I thought it was fucking hilarious.
After you're like,
I was like, and he's like, "Oh yeah, this is just saying that we gave you a prescription and you understand the rights of the prescription." And I was like, "I'll take your word for it." And I signed it. And then I went to go put the date. And he was like, "The date's already printed on there." And then I got it like this close. And then I was like, "Oh, that's how little I can see. The date's already on." And I was like, "This is suspicious."
it's like,
But-
yes, we have a soul now.
Yeah, I just thought it was
For
funny.
Mortal Kombat.
I just thought it was funny.
Shanks when he comes out. Your soul is mine.
Suddenly the government shows up and they're like, "Is this your signature?" And be like, "I guess so."
So we play a movie game.
Yes. So we use connectthestars.xyz. And basically the idea is we pick two actors, people in movies, and we connect them via co-stars and other titles they've been in.
Yeah. Like through the movies.
The movies.
If you've ever played 7 Degrees or 6 Degrees of Kevin Bacon.
7 Degrees of Separation. It's basically that, but
Yeah.
just replace Kevin Bacon with whoever you want.
All right. So last week we ended with Robin Wright to Adam Sandler.
Yes.
And mine is, I got 4. So it's Robin Wright was in Forrest Gump with Haley Joel Osment, who's in Sixth Sense with Bruce Willis, who's in The Whole Nine Yards with Matthew Perry, who's in Fools Rush In with Salma Hayek, who's in Grown Ups with Adam Sandler.
Oh.
I'm kind of enjoying the journey of it now. Like, I really try to see if I can find like a really close, quick one. But if it's not happening, I'm just like, all right, how far how disconnected can I get?
I got Robin Wright is in The Pledge with Jack Nicholson. Jack Nicholson is in Anger Management with Adam Sandler.
That's a 1.
Boop, boop, boop.
Nice.
Boop.
That was a problem with Robin Wright. I could only think of, and I really think I've only seen her in Princess Bride, Forrest Gump, and Wonder Woman, and House of Cards.
Oh, she is in Wonder Woman.
Yeah.
I forgot about that.
That's I even kind of like looked through her whole filmography for a second after I figured this out, and I was like, this is the best I got, guys. This is the best I fucking got.
So
yeah,
that was the Connect the Stars. We'll do another one at the end of the episode.
We'll bring it out.
If you thought of something, I don't know, that mine's pretty damn close. I don't think you're gonna get any closer.
If you know another one that's a 1, that's good.
Yeah.
Or if you just want to play, just fucking throw it out there.
All right. So to get into the nitty gritty, welcome to episode 229, where we are reviewing 2023's Saltburn. And the reason for Saltburn is that we're doing movies that we have missed from 2021 to 2025. So every year we
24.
24, sorry. Every year we went and picked a movie from each year that we wanted to see, didn't see, and finally got around to seeing.
And now I see.
And this movie was recommended to both of us many times by certain people.
Friend of the
show.
pod.
Indy. Hi, Indy.
Hello. Duolingo's going good.
Okie dokie, Dr. Jones.
Well, let's start with.
What is it about?
Oh, yeah, synopsis. Synopsis.
Okay. An unassuming man at Oxford gets swept up by his friend's wealthy and extravagant lifestyle.
Yeah.
Without
that's
spoiling
That's
it.
the layman terms.
Yeah. There's a lot more to it to unpack, but
yeah.
Did I like it? Yes and no.
I feel the same. Because yes, I think this is a very well-crafted movie. I don't know, because like at the end of it, I was like, "Wow, this was crazy. This was a journey." But I was having a hard time with it. But that's also kind of what the movies is.
The uncomfortability of it.
Yeah.
Know what it was to me? In the psychological thriller, it was like a gory slasher film to me.
Okay.
I felt like a lot of stuff that was being done to be like, the one hot mic. Look at it! Look at it! I want all of you to look at it. You know. What is that? That's SpongeBob. And I just felt like a lot of it was kind of this shock value moments that I didn't super appreciate.
Fair, but those weird shock value moments were very I think it's that you either just try to show it and be like, or you really lean into it and you're like, oh, okay, and the message is very clear, you know?
Yeah. I mean, and also, I mean, I don't know if you got this feel. It felt kind of like, and I'm saying this not having watched it in forever, but it kind of felt like in the lane of Cruel Intentions. And a lot
it was inspired by that.
Is it really?
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
one of the inspirations, yeah. Which, yeah, 100%. I mean, because the rich, extravagant lifestyle and
and just a bunch of fucked up kids doing fucked up things.
Yeah. Yeah, it's what I really felt was it was an interesting take on what it was saying, but I felt like there's other movies about this in this realm that I just enjoy more. But it's like I'm not discrediting that this movie is really, really good.
Yes.
It's not a bad movie, not a extravagant movie, but it's like it. We'll talk about it. Let's
just need your reaction off the top of your head. What did you think of the ending?
I actually thought that was the best ending it could have.
Okay.
In a weird way. It was not the ending at all I was expecting.
No, but I mean, like, okay, like, I guess
which part of the ending?
I'm trying to lead you to, I was really like, oh, wow, okay. And then the more I thought about it, that was
are you talking about the unveiling of
everything?
Oh, not the dancing.
No. The
okay.
The ending of the plot.
The ending of the plot, they had the sheep's wool over my eyes through most of it. I was picking out a lot, and there's a couple of things that I did guess. I was like, yeah, I called that was going to be a thing, like the tire. I was like, I thought about that halfway through.
I just thought that it was kind of over, I guess, it was grandiose in a way that didn't fit with me to the whole story.
I see what you're saying because, yeah.
Like when he and Farley were talking, you know what scene I'm talking about right before the party?
Which time?
Wait. This is just a dream. This is my life conversation.
Are you talking about before Oliver's birthday party?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's like right in the thick of that.
Yeah.
They're having this back and forth, and Farley's kind of like, go fuck yourself, basically. That right there, it clicked in something. I was like, ooh, he's going to do something. Like, ooh, he's going to do something. And then to show that it's been the whole time, it was like that. I thought it was a cool reveal, like the way it was revealed. But I was like, meh.
I mean, it had been showing that in a way the entire time.
All right, we'll get into it. All right. So, start off with our release dates.
Came out in 2023.
Came out in 2023.
August 31st, premiered at the Telluride Film Festival. And then it got limited theatrical release November 17th. Wish-wash box office, really.
Mm-hmm.
How many movies did you have for 23?
24.
24 as well.
Oh, weird.
Look at that.
Look at that. I think a lot of them we actually watched together. Not a lot of them, but there were a couple of them that we had watched together.
Possibly, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. That's the first time we've ever had the same number.
Yeah.
I don't think it's the same movies. Exactly.
No. It'd be funny to see which one's actually correlated.
Yeah. Well, this was... Do you have anything else you want to say about that? Okay. All right. So, written and directed by upcoming crazy filmmaker. I shouldn't say crazy, but really good filmmaker, I'll say. She's done a lot of stuff. Emerald Fennell. She started out acting some more like supporting roles throughout her career, like late 2000s and whatnot. But when it comes to films that she's been working on her stuff, she's I think maybe one of the co-creators of Killing Eve. I know that she's a writer and a showrunner on it.
Yeah, I mean, I read that only the 6 episodes.
Writer. So then maybe producer, because I know she's credited. She has a lot of things to do with Killing Eve.
Mm-hmm.
And then a couple years ago, Carey Mulligan led Promising Young Woman, which was one of my favorite movies, maybe of 2022.
I was gonna say you talked about it a couple times.
Maybe it was 2020 when it came out. But I remember I really like Carey Mulligan to begin with. But it was such an interesting psychological. It's kind of a thriller. It's like a revenge story. Great movie.
I still haven't watched it.
Yeah, uncomfortable. Very uncomfortable movie. She likes to do uncomfortable.
Clearly.
So I'm really curious. I can't wait to see what she does next. I thought this was like Yorgos Lanthimos or something.
Wuthering Heights is the next.
She's doing Wuthering Heights?
Yeah.
Oh, I'd love to see how she interprets that.
In 2026, it says.
Cool. All right. Hopefully it's not just plain old Wuthering Heights.
Huh. Margot Robbie is apparently in it.
Oh, yeah. Margot Robbie's a producer on this.
Oh, really?
Yeah, she was also a producer on Promising Young Woman. Emerald Fennell, she was also in the Barbie movie.
Yeah, I was trying to remember who that character was, and I couldn't remember.
Was she one? She wasn't one of the Barbies? No, she wasn't. She has a name.
Yeah,
like
she
Midge or Marge or something.
Midge.
Yeah.
I couldn't remember who that was.
I was trying to find the screenshot in her photos of her and Barbie, and I couldn't find any.
Midge is a Barbie.
Midge is a Barbie.
Yeah, Margaret, Midge, Hadley Sherwood is a doll character in the Barbie line of toys. So Midge is, I guess, like one of Barbie's friends. Yeah.
Playtime with Barbie.
Yeah, and when you look up,
Why were we talking about Barbie last week? Or was it 2 weeks ago? When were we talking about Barbie?
were we talking about Barbie? Or were we talking about Barbie?
Noah Baumbach. So we were talking about it last week. Noah Baumbach did White Noise.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Look at all these things connected
Yeah,
together. These are all happy accidents. We don't plan this. We really don't.
They don't. You can tell by our... Never mind. Moving.
Sometimes when I'm just kind of being like, we don't do it, it just sounds like you're a fucking asshole. It sounds like you're doing it.
I'm totally lost. What do we do next?
Starring.
Okay.
Are you getting the fog?
Yeah.
From your cold? Yeah.
Yeah, sorry. If I sound a little hot, I have a cold. All right.
I mean, we could probably spend just a little bit of time on like about everybody if we want to, because there wasn't a lot of writer and director, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So, starring, leading, punchable face, not so punch. It's leaving me.
Are you getting over it a little bit?
I'm getting a little bit over it. Barry Keoghan, who we have talked about in The Banshees of Inisherin.
Episode 120.
He was in The Eternals for a short period of time. Small cameo in The Batman.
Was in Green Knight, which I really want to
I
sit down
vaguely remember him in it.
I vaguely remember that movie.
It's not good.
I think it's probably good.
It insists upon itself.
A lot of movies do that.
Yeah.
Killing of the Sacred Deer. Or
still need to see
of
that.
a Sacred Deer, which I really want to watch.
That's Lanthimos, isn't it?
I believe so, yeah.
Lobster?
Yeah.
Lobster was Lanthimos, right?
Yeah.
Who did The Favorite? Who am I getting him confused with?
Oh, I don't remember anymore. Not off the top of my head. No, yeah, he did that too. Right?
It's all Yorgos?
Right? I'm like, we reviewed it. I should remember. Yeah. Okay. I was like, yeah, I know it is.
Really? Okay.
Yeah. So he did The Favorite, Lobster, and Killing of a Sacred Deer. Dogtooth. Oh, yeah. Dogtooth, Poor Things.
Yeah. Poor Things. That's it. There's a bunch of stuff I need to see. I need to still see Poor Things and the one that just came out with Kirsten Dunst's husband. I can't remember his name.
Kinds of Kindness.
Jesse Plemons. Yeah.
Is that the one? Kinds of Kindness?
Yeah.
Kinds of Kindness. Whew.
Don't hurt yourself, kid.
What is this? Man seeks to break free from his proven path. All questions of life. Okay.
And they're on a path of... Emma Stone and him are on a path of doing another one. But we're not talking about that. We're talking about Barry Keoghan right now.
Yeah, Barry Keoghan, who plays Oliver Quick.
Yes, and literally those shots of him when he's like... Because apparently this is, him retelling his tale of it all. He looks like Joel Edgerton. He looks so much like Joel Edgerton. And I'm surprised you don't know who I'm talking about every time I say that.
Australian. Oh, yeah, I can see it.
It's like really piercing eyes, but they're kind of weirdly like small.
Yeah,
sunken into the head.
As Barry gets older,
mm-hmm.
I can kind of see it.
Well, we got next on our list who plays Felix. That's his name,
Felix Catton.
Catton, that's the last name. Jacob Elordi, who I have not seen ever in anything.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh.
I've never watched The Kissing Booth.
Oh.
And I haven't watched an episode of Euphoria.
He's in Priscilla. He plays Elvis in the Priscilla movie.
Oh, interesting.
About their love life, but from her perspective.
Yeah.
And what an absolute babe he was in this.
Really?
Yeah, I got it. He had that he really. I think he did a great job.
He was very fit, but I thought he was I think he's goofy looking dude.
Yeah, but I don't mean it was. He has that.
Charisma?
You want to, that charisma. You want to be around him, and he really nailed that in this. He was just very effortless.
That was one of the things they said in his audition was that he understood the character and made that natural charisma just seem natural.
Yeah, it was just really effortless, and that whole Barry Oliver's explanation of all the girls wanted him and all the guys wanted to be around him thing, and he fucking nailed that. I was really
that's fair. Yeah,
I was just really from an acting standpoint, I was really impressed because they'll make those characters. That's a pretty common trope.
Well, what's crazy is how quickly he can like shut that, not shut it off, but like since you
Well, it's a mask and he loses it at moments.
that desire, but like how quick, like he's like he will turn it off on you.
Well, that's what I'm saying. It's
Yeah.
like it's this mask of effortlessness that he's holding, and then when it turns off, it turns off. But he just had this like fluidity to him that I was just really impressed with him. Especially being as tall and lanky as he is. He didn't carry himself tall and lanky because he is. He's like fucking 6'5" or something. He's crazy tall.
Is he that tall actually?
He looks really tall.
I'd say like 6'3", because Barry Keoghan.
Well, whatever. Still 6'3". Still.
Yeah.
But anyways, he was tall, skinny, and he, a lot of times those guys kind of carry themselves kind of. But no, I was very impressed with him.
Well, it's like that scene where Oliver is like picking up in his room, and like you can tell right then and there that the type of person Felix is you upset him once, I don't care. I don't want to be friends with you anymore.
Well, yeah, but even that whole scene too is that I feel like Oxford College was a way to get away from the being pampered on.
Yeah.
So when Barry Oliver started pampering him and taking care of his mess,
well, then he's like, I'm not a fucking child. I can take care of
yeah.
it.
He kind of wanted to live in the mess.
Yeah.
Because you saw his home life. Everything is
yeah.
curated and in its place, So I thought that was an interesting scene.
This is the blue room because it's blue.
Yeah. And I was like, that was a very interesting look into his.
That's fair. I didn't really think about that in that moment. Well, in retrospect, Who do you got next?
Archie?
Yeah. I have the young and then the parents.
Yeah.
So yeah, Archie Madekwe. Never seen him in anything as well because I haven't watched Midsommar yet.
Yeah, no, we just got to get that out of the way.
And I do actually kind of want to watch Gran Turismo.
I did too. I thought it looked cool.
I like the cast.
Yeah, and it was I don't know, it looked cool.
It's probably bad.
You think so?
I don't know. Are you gonna look if it's IMDb rating?
Yeah, I'm just kind of curious.
6.1.
You think a 6.1?
Yeah. So not bad, but just not. Yeah.
I'm thinking. I'm gonna guess a 7.2.
That's really high.
That's what I'm saying. I kind of feel like it would be surprisingly. Let's see, it's gonna be one of his known for. 7.1.
Damn.
Yeah.
That's what I said. All right. He does a great job playing kind of spoiled, but not. It's like was spoiled for a long time, and now he's not getting his stuff, his toys anymore. But he is a very good reflection of like the outside of this family, but still part of the family.
Well, I mean, I think also he's kind of, in a weird way, like the boy that cried wolf.
Yeah, that's good.
It's like he could kind of see Oliver. Something was up with Oliver. He wasn't sure what it was, but his gut was telling him this is not a good guy, not to be trusted.
Well, his first goddamn impression with him in that weird, like, small 2-person class or whatever the fuck it was, is Oliver being like calling him out for not doing any of the work. And like Archie has like intelligence. He's not dumb. Like he's actually right about the rhetoric thing of his essay. It's kind of like you just don't. Can you not take a criticism? Like Oliver can't.
I don't know, but even then, Farley kind of came at him in a way. I just think also that it was doomed from the get-go because sometimes you just don't get along with people. Your energies don't match, and I just don't think that they at any point clicked.
Well, it's like, thus, I just don't feel like people say that anymore. Oh, really? Like, yeah, I didn't use it that much. Use it 7 times. I was counting.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, he's kind of being an asshole, but he's also not fucking wrong.
Well, yeah, but again, there's a way of talking to people.
Yeah.
And he did kind of, someone talking to you like that's going to make you bristle up a little bit. And so I just was like, they're doomed.
They were just doomed. Both of them to get.
Well, then, but yeah.
And then I got Alison Oliver, who I've never seen in anything as well.
Nope, nothing. Not a single thing.
The only thing that popped out to me was Conversations with Friends, which was come up on my like recommended before, which is I'm assuming about conversations with friends.
Yeah, well, because
it's like it's not Euphoria. Like everybody I don't know what came out first.
2 Dublin college students, Francis and Bobby, and the strange unexpected connection they forged with Mary. Okay, yeah, it's a romantic drama.
Yeah, with the young people.
The young people.
How young they are.
And then I had Richard E. Grant, who plays Sir James, who is the father to both Minetta and Felix. Most recently, he's in the show The Franchise.
Yep. I still need to watch all of that if I finish it.
He's like my favorite thing about it.
Well, he's an asshole.
Yeah, he's awesome. He's like a old theater actor.
Who has no filter.
No filter whatsoever, and he's really funny in it.
A little out of touch with the times. It's funny.
He's in Loki.
Yeah, well, yeah, he's
old Loki.
Classic Loki.
Yeah, classic Loki.
He's in The Rise of Skywalker.
He is.
He's one of the generals.
He's in Dracula, which I always forget about.
He is?
Yeah, he's the you know how what's her name has
Bram Stoker's Dracula, right?
Yeah, the Keanu Reeves one.
Yeah.
The Winona Ryder one. You know how her best friend has the 3 suitors?
Yeah. Oh, is he one of the suitors?
Yeah, he's one of those. He's the doctor.
Oh, okay.
The one that's treating Tom Waits.
Fair, okay. And then I got Rosamund Pike.
God, she was incredible in this.
She is great in this, actually.
She was so wonderfully awful.
Yeah.
It was great.
Awful human being.
Awful. She plays awful so fucking well. Makes
She's
me worried.
got that pretty face that,
hides a real bitch.
Yeah.
And I love it.
Gone
And I say
Girl.
that, and I know I say that with all the love in my heart because there's this Gone Girl, and what did we just watch?
I Care a Lot.
I Care a Lot, and she is just insufferable, personal ring of hell, terrible person, and I love her. She's great. She plays it so good.
She's also in the Wheel of Time series.
Is she a bitch in that too?
Kind of, but she's like the Gandalf in a way of that series.
That was a weird thing to correlate.
Why?
She's kind of the Gandalf.
Wheel of Time series?
Yeah. I thought she'd be more like a snow queen in Narnia.
No, she's kind of like one of the main protagonists.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. But yeah, she's wonderful. Gone Girl's a fucked up.
Still need to see it.
You've never seen it?
I've never seen Gone Girl.
What? Oh, man.
But the problem is I know what happens.
Oh, man, that's a fucked up movie.
Yeah.
I went, didn't know anything. Actually, funny side tangent. When that movie came out, I went on a first date with someone to that movie.
I think you told me this before, yeah.
That was not a first date movie.
That's not a
We
first
just
date
picked
movie.
something random. We're like, oh, sure, like whatever. We left like, well,
I feel like I should take you home.
yeah, that was a mistake.
That's
But
not
man,
as bad as the first date that David did with somebody. Or a date, I don't know if it was first date, but Bug. That we did.
that we reviewed 15 million years ago.
Yeah.
I still think that's better than Gone Girl.
How? I mean, actually I can't say that.
Yeah.
But
Say in the comments, that's a good one. What's worse?
David,
For a first
which
date
one?
movie, Bug or Gone Girl?
Yeah.
With someone that you're romantically interested in, which one's the worst one?
Yeah.
I'm very curious. Write in.
get in the comments.
Because I still think Gone Girl.
And then I'm just going to do a quick shout out to Carrie Mulligan.
Oh, yeah.
Because she was lead in Promising Young Woman. She has a small role in this, and I think that's just the sense her and Emerald Fennell are probably good friends type thing.
Oh, and a shout out to Will Gibson. Gibson.
Our
Is that his name?
the head of the house.
No. I'm trying to remember what his. I said the wrong name. The person that we were trying to figure out who it was. Oh, Ewan Mitchell. That's who I was thinking of.
Oh yeah, I forgot to write his name down.
Yeah.
House Targaryen.
Yeah, Ewan Mitchell was really funny because of both of us having the moment that you were like, who is that, was the exact same moment I did too. I was like, who the fuck is that?
Big chin, big mouth.
It's the voice. It's that.
Yeah.
Ew.
It's very British.
Yeah. But Ewan Mitchell is House of Dragon guy. Evil.
And is he Damien? Did I say that right?
I don't know.
Damien Targaryen? Because
I just closed this thing.
don't worry about it. We don't have to talk about it. We can move into reviews.
Amen.
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 When is that going to come back?
I don't know. I feel like season 2 ended pretty recently. It was 2024. Yeah, it was like June. I'm remembering things about around that time when it was ending. Anyway.
Oh.
So Saltburn, I think all of the scores for it are very fitting. all around, and they're all pretty much like around the same thing because IMDb it's got a flat 7.0. Rotten Tomatoes 71% tomato meter and a 79 popcorn, so a little bit more favorable with audiences than with critics, which for a movie like this I find interesting. Because I feel like this would be a lot more of a critically appreciated and audience I don't know.
Well, on Metacritic, it's pretty much split down the middle, which I thought was very fitting. So on Metacritic, it has a 61, which comes to generally favorable.
61.
Mm-hmm. But there are 29 positive, 22 mixed, and then 2 negative.
Okay.
So it kind of does, let's see. So for the 100, I picked a Rex Reed at The Observer, who gave it 100. Gorgeously photographed by Linus Sangreen. It is both beautifully directed and cleverly written by British Oscar winner Emerald Fennell, who follows her highly regarded promising young woman with a film of even more staggering impact. They're just like, it's the bee's knees.
We liked it.
We liked it a lot. And I did that thing again where I wrote, I don't know why I do that. I wrote See ABC News by Peter Travers, who gave it an 80. Oh, yeah. I remember now. Love it or loathe it. There's no in between. Emerald Fennell's deliciously depraved takedown of the upper class keeps you glued to Barry as a poor boy driven into madness and worse by a rich Adonis and his sweet vampiric mom.
Ooh, I kind of like the word usage of that, but it misses the point of Oliver, I feel.
Well, yeah, I just thought it was interesting, too, because it's a review trying, obviously, to not spoil the story, but it gives you a wrong idea. But as the audience don't know it's the wrong idea until so it's kind of a weird movie to review. But
yeah,
I think we're going to have that same problem here.
I'm just going to flat out say it right now. If you don't want this movie to be spoiled, stop listening.
Oh, yeah. Nice talking to you. Well, yeah, because, after basically we're going to get into the reviews, and then we're going to talk about the ending. It's spoiled. We're going to talk about it all. So, you have until...
To really understand what this movie is about, you have to.
Yeah. So
to give it a proper review.
You have until I finish the reviews, and then we're going to get into it. For negative, at IndieWire by David Ehrlich, who gave it a 58. Another smirking and vaguely satirical psycho thriller that wants to have its cake, eat it too, and then soil the plate for good measure. Fennell's immaculately crafted follow-up to Promising Young Woman might have a lot more fun pushing your buttons if it had any clue how to get under your skin.
Got under my skin.
Yes, I saw that. Gotcha. I know what scene that it started. Oh, and I wrote this one down just because this is kind of what I said in the beginning too. So another mix at Film Thread by Alan. Neeg is, where is it? There it is. Who gave it a 50. Saltburn just goes too far, and its startling images shocked me out of this story altogether.
That's kind of a little bit where you said you were feeling.
That really it.
It's crazy. Those moments drew me in more.
I had a couple, obviously, where I was kind of like, what the hell is going on? But a lot of it, I don't know. But we'll get into that in a minute.
Like when he was on the grave?
Yeah. So, and the negative by Mick LaSalle at San Francisco Chronicle, who gave it a 25. Saltburn is a remarkable combination of smart and stupid. Its problem is that it's superficially smart and deeply stupid. It's clever and amusing in 20 different ways, but when it really matters, it descends into ridiculousness. And that's the bottom review.
That's interesting. Because I can see why they would say that, but I feel like, and where I'm thinking of where his mind is going for the ridiculousness, unless he's talking about the ridiculousness of how everything unfolded, where like it turned into art filmy-ish, where it's like it was much more, it was saying more than what the action we were seeing on screen was saying more to us as an audience member than what it was truly happening there. Yeah, you see do you know what I'm trying to say?
Yeah.
Like it was a metaphor for something.
All right. So those are reviews. If you don't want it spoiled, goodbye. If you want to keep dissecting this with us, then
come on in.
We'll give you a second to peace out.
The water is warm with something filled from a dude touching himself in the bathtub.
Felix's
gender fluid.
Gender fluid. Felix's man chowder. The douche. So yes. So to kind of go back into it, this, and I'm just going to come out and say it off the top. The ending felt to me, and I could be...
Okay, how it unfolded, not the ending.
No, yeah, okay. Forget the dance scene. That was just a fun little cherry on top of the weirdness that it was. I'm talking about the revelation of everything. Honestly, to me, kind of felt half-assed, and it felt like a last thought. Only because I couldn't sit there, and I kept popping in while you were watching it, just kind of to rewatch certain scenes. Because what I will give this credit to is there are some really incredible, like that scene with Oliver and what's her name,
Venetia
in the bathtub is an incredible scene.
She fucking sees right through.
Well,
him.
she was incredible in that scene.
Yeah. She calls him out for exactly what he is.
But this whole he's been planning it all along thing.
I don't think it was that he's been planning it all along, as opportunity upon opportunity upon opportunity came upon him. I think he was...
Okay, so what was the first goal then? Just to get in?
Okay, that's the thing I have written down. What the fuck is his motivation?
That's what I'm saying, and that's what I mean. Like, the way it was presented was...
And I don't think he has a motivation.
But the way it was presented is that, like, he wanted Saltburn all along.
I think he was...
Is the way I took it.
He was... seduced is the wrong word. He was... Because Felix wasn't trying to seduce him anyway. But in a way, it was more of...
Infatuated?
The infatuation he had with Felix.
Well, that's what I'm asking.
And I think it was more of he didn't know what Felix had, but he knew he wanted.
Well, that's what I'm asking. So the first big plot was just to get in with Felix.
Yes.
To be his little project, his little pet.
And it becomes much bigger than he could ever imagine. And he just keeps going.
He's kind of just trying to see how far he can go with it.
Because my biggest thing is it's obsession. That's one of the biggest themes in this, is obsession. And that's what Oliver has on Felix, is obsession. And he becomes obsessed. And I'm going to say status, and not because he knows that Felix has money, but like Felix's status at school. Everybody's attracted to him. Everybody wants to be around him. There's the status. What does Felix, or what does Oliver do? He works to become his best friend. And we, as an audience member through this early points, all just think it's like, wow, poor Oliver, and wow, he's finally finding a friend. You know, he's an odd fella.
He's an odd fella.
Something doesn't seem right. You know, the very beginning of the movie is him saying, I loved him. I loved him. I loved him. I loved him. I wasn't in love with him, though, but I loved him. And then we see him smoking a cigarette, purveying through the window as Felix makes out with his new girlfriend, India, or whoever, you know? Mm-hmm. So we know that Oliver is a little bit cuckoo. But then you were like, oh, he lost his parent, you know, he's from a broken family, so forth. It comes from no money, he sounds like, and all this, you know, he gives us the sob story. That seems logical because we have no other, no other background to, you know, no other way to know, you know what I mean?
Well, it was funny when there is a moment where you kind of they hint at that he is a liar, but you just don't really think much of it. And it's the scene right before Farley comes in with the teacher. And he asks him about this. How'd you get on with the school reading?
Oh, and he read all of the books?
He read all 50 books. And he even mentions
even
the King James Bible.
Yeah.
You spent your entire summer reading that. And I didn't catch it at first, but I was like, I think that's a nod to...
that's a good catch. It's a good catch.
He's full of shit.
Yeah.
That's why they brought that up, because it's almost like it's compulsive. It's compulsive lying. He just said he did that without really even thinking about...
Well, and then Farley calling him out on that essay, like, and thus I was like, you're this is all bullshit.
It's kind of what we were talking about. I don't know, maybe a week ago, about the kid. Because this is in 2006, but he's in his 20s, right? Mm-hmm. He's 19, 20, whatever. And he's creating this narrative of who he wants to be to be perceived, which is a very young person's game.
Yes.
But he committed to that, and it was kind of that sense of it was impulsive, and you're thinking you can hide it. You're not thinking of the repercussions if you're found out. You're not thinking enough steps ahead to keep the lie
Especially
going.
If you're a psychopath, you're not really caring about repercussions sometimes.
And the Oxford reading list, I think, was what they were telling us, because of the fact that there are 50 titles on there, and he probably didn't even look at the title list. And then this professor, who's now a professor at Oxford, he even goes, I haven't read 25 of those books. He says half, but he himself in all these years has... I work here and I haven't read the recommended reading list, Yeah. And I think that was really a nod of, he's just completely and utterly full of shit.
That's fair. That's very fair. Yeah.
And I thought that was cool. I thought that was a cool little... This is like kind of what we were talking about last week with you'll catch more with the rewatch. You don't need to rewatch it though. But the kind of when I was in the kitchen casually listening to it, I was like,
oh. And that's kind of like where it's like I wrote like seduced by status, and like that's the biggest thing is like trying to figure out what Oliver's motivation is, because by the end of it he has taken Saltburn, and Saltburn is the estate.
Yes.
What's their name again? The Canton.
Canton. Catton.
Yeah, the Canton estate.
Yeah.
And also, I'm just gonna say, fuck this family.
I love this family.
I hate this. I know you love them, and you wouldn't want to hang out with these people.
No, I love them in the way I love villains way.
Yeah,
they're great.
And it's just this family is I despise people that come from money that have this sense of like this old way. I don't know, just like
waspy.
Yeah, it's very waspy. Very.
I actually felt bad for him, to be honest.
Well, what's interesting is like this kind of goes into a thing that I remember having a conversation with an old friend who had a friend who their family was very wealthy. And I was like, fuck wealthy people. And they're like, fuck wealthy people. But when you're a wealthy person, then you end up having wealthy people problems. And it's like you have all the money. Now everybody wants your money. So now you're trying to find ways to protect your money. Mm-hmm. And it's like, oh, yeah, that's fair. And so, you have something that somebody else doesn't.
I didn't mean like that. I meant psychologically.
Yeah. But psychologically, what the fuck does that put you through?
Yeah.
But
their complete lack of being able to deal with anything.
Yeah, because they've been able to solve everything with money.
Well, I think it's more than that. Like, because even then, Sir James.
Well, yeah,
he doesn't have the tools to process emotion very well.
Yeah. Because also there is we are rich. It's an image you have to present.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's also think about it.
And that's the thing that I really hate about that old money thing is that this image that it's I am such a I don't care about your status or how you were the status of the image of status. It's just, it's the goddamn.
Well, I just think that
poor person in me.
Well, it's like the conversation you're having with your friend about now you have rich people problems. Mm-hmm. Well, now you have rich people generational trauma.
Yeah,
which is, I think,
it's a crazy thing to think. It's a thing to go down.
A very interesting creature, to look at through a cage, but you wouldn't really want to experience it.
A trauma of privilege.
Well, it just those the crazy shit that rich people can get away with out in public. Imagine what they're doing behind closed doors to their families.
Yeah.
And so when you see the fact that when the whole Felix at the end being found, and the dad just is incapable of really acknowledging it. And then when he's finally really forced to, he explodes because he has no idea how to handle it.
Yeah.
And you're like, wow, that sucks. On a mental... I was like, I bet a psychiatrist would find you, a therapist would find you fascinating. You're like Gina from Brooklyn Nine-Nine. They're going to make...
In a weird... Yeah.
They're going to write papers about you.
But, like, I hated this family. But even what happened to them, what Oliver does is fucked up.
It's crazy.
Nobody... No, it's like, as much as I, hate rich people, that's just... It's completely fucked up what he does. The manipulation, it's clever as hell. And in some ways.
Well, and a lot of it's luck.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
A lot of it's just...
That's what I was saying. It's like
right.
it just kind of kept unfolding.
Snowballing out.
Yeah.
Well, like even like with the whole sister and, and that's kind of why I feel like I meant about... And maybe it just wasn't presented in a way that I could really appreciate. That could be it. But it was like, even she gets all upset. I don't know. It had this feeling. What am I trying to say? It had this feeling of like calculation, like Jason, like Patrick Bateman presented to you. And I was like, I don't really feel like it was like that. I feel like it was a lot of right place, right time.
There was a lot of this where I felt like when you say Patrick Bateman, I just like, I thought that was like how much of this was actually happening, but it seems like all of it was like when he breaks the mirror to like go and then goes to Farley's room and do all that stuff. When he breaks the mirror and then wakes up the next morning and the mirror's magically fixed. Or replaced, whichever it was. Probably replaced is what they're leading towards.
The money makes... You're saying money makes problems go away.
Yeah.
And I'm sure that's not the most significant thing that's been broken in that house.
Yeah. Fair.
Rich people problems.
Yeah. But yeah, going back to what were you saying about your Patrick Bateman thing?
I just kind of felt like, when we were getting the grand reveal...
the luck of it all.
That it was like this that grand master scheme that I have pulled off. And it's like, you kind of just took a shot in the dark and got the outcome that you wanted.
I think post Felix's death and when he got there and he saw what Carey Mulligan's character was doing, poor little Pam or whatever the fuck her name was.
Oh, yeah.
He saw a family that he could take advantage of. He knew how to play the game. She was maybe wearing her welcome, but she was someone who was actually down and out of her luck. And they were being kind, but she overextended her welcome. Mm-hmm. And then they kind of booted her out. And then she took herself out of the equation.
Well, I do like something I will give credit to. I really liked the pacing of this, and I appreciated it more the second time around.
Well, it's interesting is like you can see little moments of Oliver, like when he's talking about the plant bowl or whatever the fuck it is.
Oh, when he went and looked at it's water, by the way.
Straight tequila. All right,
Spring break.
Just drinking Tito's and soda
and Kool-Aid.
Hey, yeah. You see these little bits of Oliver learning things, and it's just like quick flashes. Like he's playing the game.
Yeah,
and these people don't know him at all, so. He can weave his own story. He can make his own thing. And yeah, Farley's seeing through it. But he's not he's suspicious. He knows that something's up, but he can't fucking put his finger on it. And Oliver does a great job of
putting his finger on it.
Doing more than just a finger. He put a whole hole there. No, Oliver does a good job of just finding ways to like push him aside, get him out of the equation. Mm-hmm. But the reveal of Oliver being behind everything, that's where I was going. Yeah. It was kind of like after Felix takes him to his, because I think Felix is also starting to get suspicious about shit too. So like Felix is like, let's go see your mom. Let's go see your mom. And that's when everything blows up for Oliver. And then now that his big secret is revealed, he has to do something to make sure that secret can't come out. So now he has to kill Felix. Now he has to get rid of Farley. Now he has to find a way for Venetia to do what Venetia's going to do. And then I think it really just kind of turned into, I'm going to take all that you have because...
You keep saying have to, and I'm just curious for you.
Him saying he's thinking that
no,
like,
I
he
know.
has to.
I know, but why? I don't know why I want to ask this, but why does he have to?
Because of his compulsion.
What compulsion?
He became infatuated with Felix and what Felix was.
Yeah.
And then he saw what Felix had, became infatuated with that. He's just trying to take.
That's the thing that, and that's why, I don't know. Maybe I'm just missing it. I guess I just didn't really understand really when all of this was happening. Because even it's like it never, and I guess that's really what it is. It's just these opportunities just kept falling in his lap. But I kept sitting there going, "What is your end goal here?"
The big thing,
obviously the end goal became Saltburn.
Yeah,
but from the moment to moment until we got to that point, what are we trying to do? Because he never really makes a move on Felix because it's not really about that. It's not really.
No. Even though there is some,
he wants to wear him like a skin suit. He doesn't want to be.
He
with
wants
him.
to be him.
Yeah, but he doesn't want to be with him.
Yeah.
So okay, there's not, that's kind of out, and so it's just kind of like this. So he kills, well, and obviously with the secret that he made up about his parents being drug addicts and dead, which is crazy. I mean, my first thought when that happened was, well, if he tells anyone at school, you're a fucking pariah. Like no one's gonna. So that's gonna. You might need to. I was like kind of wondering, like, well, he might need to drop out of school because that's not going to be a good environment to be in. But I just, and then we get to the whole... I mean, I thought he was going to beat him to death with that champagne bottle, to be honest. But I was like, drugs make more sense.
Yeah.
Overdosed him. But I just like that. Okay, we killed Felix to keep the secret. But at that moment, Saltburn is still not in the picture. What is our goal? Is it really just a compulsion now? If I can't have... Now that he has utterly rejected me and I have no in with him again, no one can have him?
I think it was at that point... that of I want to be Felix. Felix is the person who would receive the estate. So if he is to completely, become Felix, he has to take Saltburn.
Yeah, no, but that's what I'm saying though. Is like at that point, is that now turned into our ultimate goal?
I think that kind of turned into his goal slowly while he was at the estate.
Because then that's also the moment I was talking about between Farley and Oliver. When Farley is all up getting in his shit and saying, this is a dream for you and this is my life. I knew that was a turning point. And I thought, oh, now we're going to take over the estate. Like at that moment, I was like, now we're going to start making moves.
I was like, you're trying to find the moment where Oliver made the choice. I'm taking Saltburn.
Only because when it was that moment, I was like, oh, here's the moment that we've made the conviction. This is now I'm going to somehow make this mine. All right. And then the story unfolds and how he does that. But then we find out that he had started manipulating these people all the way back to the bicycle thing. That's what took me out.
He had started manipulating Felix all the way back to that.
I know, but you're splitting hairs. I'm just saying the manipulation act started at that point on these little things. They got bigger and bigger and bigger until now we have Saltburn. And I just thought...
Are you trying to figure out Saltburn or are you trying to figure out where the manipulation started?
No, I know where the manipulation started. My point is, it felt like from his little... outro monologue about what he has done before he kills the mother, it kind of felt like that this was his plan all along. His evil monologuing came off like, I've been planning this power move for because now it's 2022 when the movie ends. I've been planning this for 15 years, and I was like, have we though? But even then, I kind of just had an epiphany. He's a liar. He's a liar. He's always been a liar. Who's to say, even though this woman's on her fucking deathbed and he's going to kill her in a second, doesn't mean he wouldn't lie to her about it.
True.
To make himself, like the same thing with the book, to make himself seem smarter. It could have started off as these small little things just to get in with Felix, and then what I was saying spiraled out into this, now I own Saltburn, and then in his head it was always his master plan.
Well, there is this thing.
That's actually kind of an interesting way to look at it.
There's a big, like, the metaphor of class divide in this as well. And at a point, it's like, you got to kind of, I feel like you got to look at the characters as more of representations of ideas as opposed to actual characters. What makes the movie interesting is that they create lives of actual characters. But it begins with ideas of characters, ideas of representation, because this is very, very Chekhovian. Who's, you know who Anton Chekhov is? Mm-hmm. Okay, so very Chekhovian in its sense.
I think we've talked about it before.
Yeah, of like Mother Russia and the bourgeoisie and the proletariat, you know, and this has that same exact feel of like it's. But it's not like the proletariat rising up to take down the bourgeoisie to create a more equal thing. It's the jealousy of the proletariat wanting what the bourgeoisie have, and then, you know, taking it and then, you know, swinging your dick around with it,
and then just becoming the bourgeoisie.
Yeah,
the thing,
which is a huge thing that happened in one of the first Russian revolutions, is that the proletariat rose up to take down the bourgeoisie, to take down the Tsar and one of the, like, the royalty pretty much. But there was too many people that then took that to rise to a different kind of power, and it became another problem. Kind of like a good example of that is Hunger Games. Julianne Moore's character, who the whole thing was to stop the Hunger Games, but then when she has the power, now she's sending them to the Hunger Games, the people that started, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like, now you're just continuing the problem. You're not solving it, you know? And that's where this, like, metaphor of class division and jealousy of it comes from the proletariat's point of view to the bourgeoisie. And that's really where I think this movie is. That's really what I think this movie is more about. Is that Oliver's more of a representation of lower class, or even but he's faking kind of lower class.
Well, that's what I'm saying, though. Like, that all goes back into his motive, and it doesn't. I have a really, and you know, you could chalk it up to it in a sense, you know, his mental illness, whatever he's, you know, whatever he has or whatever.
I mean, at the end of the day, he came from a nice, happy family. But probably wasn't a family with it doesn't. It's not fucking Lord Felix Canton money.
1% are, you know, like,
yeah.
But that's what I mean is, like, I don't know, and it's, you know, it's easy to chalk it up to that he just has some kind of diagnosable thing, but it's like you're sitting there and you're kind of looking for the motive.
There's envy and there's jealousy with it, and that's another interesting thing is that as much as I said this, I hate people that are rich. You know, I hated the Cantons. I think Oliver is a worse human being than them because of his infatuation with who they are, what they have, and how he just wants to have that because he can't.
Yeah, but a lot of people are like that. They just don't take it to that level.
Exactly, and a lot of people like that I don't like.
It's a fantasy, though. Everyone fantasizes.
Well, everyone fantasies about having stuff like that, but to let it control you, that's your motivation, is to take that in that way, you know. I mean, to weasel your way in like a moth.
Yeah, but I mean, I don't think it's inherently bad to want that.
Okay, it's not bad to want to have comfortability and fortune like that. No. But if you don't have it and you're looking at that and you're envious of it and you're jealous of it and you use not immoral, but like horrible, you do horrible things to take it, like weasel your way into the family and manipulate everyone and murder people and just to take it, you know, it's like
I guess it did.
How about, you know, if you really want to take that money from them, find a way into the business and take the business down or something. Don't
Well, that's even. I don't think they have.
It's family money.
I was like, I don't think they have a business.
Yeah.
I just think, and that's one of those things I was kind of wondering. I was like, actually, how rich are they? Because a lot of that could be like, in a sense, frozen money.
Yeah, true.
Not.
But again, that's
touchable.
That's the
money.
fantasy of it as well. And again, how I'm saying is like we got to really look at these as like ideas of people, like. It's they have infinite money because
I mean, I get that idea of people think, but they're not. They have now been flushed out characters.
Yes, to make it interesting, to make us interested in the story.
And I just felt,
but they are metaphors for something a larger problem inside of like the Western world. Is class division and what it causes people to do.
The motivation that Oliver did or did not have, I found confusing.
That's 100% fair, because it's still, and I think that is truly the thing that lowers the grade for this movie.
Because it's like he was clear and made that, and that is the thing though. That is that classic thing of people watching a serial killer documentary or anything. They want an explanation to why someone is the way they are. And sometimes there just isn't. That's just sometimes there isn't. Sometimes people are born away and just like to hurt people, like to lie, like that. That's just born in a different decade. They would have fit right in. Give them an axe and say go get them, and they would have been like, "Whoa, this is my time to shine." But I think in a movie like this, not having and that's what it is. That's why that's kind of the Patrick Bateman connection to me. He's just this way, and it leaves a little bit in the narrative standpoint this hole of kind of like, okay, that's great, I guess. I mean, he's our villain, we find out the whole time, but why? And there's just this gap of why.
And I think that's where the why is the class division. It's a class war.
Yeah.
When you look at them as representations of class war, you get the why.
Yeah, it's not good enough for me.
It's fine.
Yeah, it still feels hollow.
Yeah, it's because it's hollow because we don't have a personal character motivation.
Because of the fact of because of Oliver and the way he's written and who he is, there is a missing piece that makes it.
Yeah.
But
I will say,
it's a hollowed out apple.
Barry Keoghan didn't fucking play it that way. Barry Keoghan very committed to whatever motivation Oliver had, and was that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I gotta say, Barry Keoghan is absolutely fantastic in this movie.
Well, and he just had these.
He's such a good actor, actually.
No, he's great.
Because I've been making jokes about like punchable face and whatnot.
Yeah, you don't like his face.
Yeah, he's a fucking great actor.
No, he's. Well, it was interesting about this movie too. We were kind of been really harping on the ending there, which is kind of important. It's pulls it all in. But all the performances were great, and he was really interesting because just from moment to moment, he was different people.
Yeah. Well, and you really, in looking back, it's like he is so much about power. There's a thing about him wanting to take power and just have power over these people. Well, because he doesn't feel like he has power in his world. That's the thing for lying for him, I guess. I might be connecting something here. Why he's lying all the time is because wherever he's come from, maybe with his family, he feels like he has no power with that. So new place, Oxford, he can lie. He can create the power that he wants. He can have power over people through manipulation. When he sees Venetia outside in her nightgown and he goes and, he performs fellatio on her. Is that the right one for... Anyhow. He goes down on her. He's
Cunnilingus.
Cunnilingus, thank you. Yeah.
I was like, fellatio's the other one.
Yeah, fellatio's what we get.
Yeah, cunnilingus. It took me a second when I got there.
He's kind of like through all of that, he's like, you will sit down. You've been vomiting. You will sit down. You will eat your food, and you will not leave the table.
Well, that's the thing that's kind of what I was trying to say to the different character thing. Because even when you first meet him telling the story of what happened. Mm-hmm. And he's got a suit on and his hair's done and he's smoking a cigarette.
I loved him.
Then you cut to him into college. You're like, what the fuck happened to you? Like this is, nerdy glasses, Oxford
Whatever.
scholarship boys, what they call them.
Yeah.
And then you see him at this point in the story, you don't know how much time has passed, but he looks like a completely different person.
Yeah.
And obviously, in the sense of the same person, but the guy went through something. You're not sure what, but
there was a transformation.
He had a life-changing transformation at some point in this narrative he's about to tell us. I mean, I think that kind of inadvertently we kind of put in, I was talking about the story and everything being hollow. I think the big red flag and the thing that really sticks out is he is a liar.
Yeah.
That's it. That's all it is. He is a liar. He's always been a liar. He was a liar just to get in with Felix. And then now that he has seen all of these benefits that Felix has, that Felix himself finds hollowness in, but he's born and raised in it. So he just kind of goes with the flow a lot, because even then the traditions that he is talking about his family doing, he just does to keep his mom to shut up, basically. He doesn't particularly believe in a lot of stuff, but he just does it because it's his family, and that's what you do.
What's interesting is kind of thinking about is that Felix, they keep kind of talking about how Oliver is Felix's new play toy. I guess maybe it's more Venetia just saying that.
Nah, Farley says it too.
Yeah, that's fair. And which could be a true thing. That's the way that Felix treats his friends, because but he's only known to have friends that want his money type thing. Mm-hmm. So he is trying to find maybe a genuine connection with Oliver. And it turns out that Oliver was the worst one to bring into the house.
Ended up killing him.
I wrote down a note. If Gatsby was super fucked up, is what this movie is.
It kind of reminded me of Catcher in the Rye.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
No, Catcher in the Rye is coming up again. What did I compare? Who did I compare Catcher in the Rye to? Was it Licorice Pizza? Yeah.
Yeah, it was Licorice Pizza. But like this, because it's like the Holden, because, he was also just full of shit. Mm-hmm. And he completely changed his tune based on who he was around. And it's because of the fact that he's kind of a predator. Not kind of, he is. But the fact that he's a chameleon, he's able to change.
Yeah. Well, even like when the mom comes out for whatever, like tea or lunch,
martini or whatever,
and she's like, "Oh, Oliver, always punctual," and he says something. He pretty much mentions her being attractive,
and but that's the thing, is he knows like that's all she cares about.
Mm-hmm. But she has like a weird reaction. You can tell that he's like, okay, it was like kind of a swing and a miss. And then so he finds another way to get her talking.
Well, yeah, and he changes his narrative and his mannerisms. Even when he's talking to Felix, he almost has like this little schoolboy kind of thing, kind of looking up at him, and and then when he's talking to the sister, he's very
a little more assertive.
Alpha. Yeah, you will do what I say, kind of thing. And then when he talks to Farley, he's kind of catty, and
it's a little more seductive.
Yeah, but it's kind of like they're quippy at each back and forth, So it really is. He's just playing the game, and I think it was just that's really what it is. He's a liar, and now that we're I kind of figured this was going to happen once we chew on it for a bit.
Yeah, I wrote a lot of open notes because I figured the conversation would lead us places.
And I think that's really what is an interesting exercise to live in, is that even when he's telling this story to the mother on hospital, on deathbed and everything, we're assuming that story is true.
Yeah, as this reliable narrator.
Yeah, and it's not, because even then, the amount of times he's saying like that he's not in love with him, but I loved him, and there's a lot of
that's a great monologue, because it breaks down into I hated him.
Well, it's a lot of conflict. You can tell there's a lot of confliction. Mm-hmm. Within himself, and that's part of the love hate that he had for this, because like I said, is he didn't want to be with him, he wanted him. And there's a difference.
Yeah, because,
and even like when the sister's in the bathtub, and I
saw you.
Well, no, but he's wearing Felix's bathrobe.
Yeah,
and that was what was really clever.
Are you wearing his fucking underwear too?
Well, there was the aftershave thing. And what I loved is that they presented that the possibility of him wearing his underwear is very high.
Yeah, 100%.
But we bring up the aftershave, but we don't talk about the bathrobe. but the bathrobe was very distinct because Felix was wearing it a lot. But from a directing standpoint, they didn't go, look at the bathrobe. You know, it was just, she brought attention to it without bringing attention to it. And I just thought that was really, like, it was a very well-made movie.
Oh, yeah.
But then also, you know, me and the sexual deviant stuff was just a little not my cup of tea.
Him having sex with a mound of dirt.
That was actually that was like kind of like the less shocking thing to me out of all the scenes.
Was the bathtub the worst one for you?
It was the noise.
That's fair, yeah.
It's like, can you not do that, please? Watching you watch that scene was really funny. I stopped what I was doing and I was like, but like, and that's what it is too, and that's it's just
he literally drank his bathwater.
Yeah, and
it's like that's a fun thing to joke about, you know.
And he ate on his sisters during her. It was just a lot, and I was like, yeah, that's.
So apparently, Emerald Fennell did kind of talk about and relate that she's like, if I could use this as like say that this is a vampire movie in a way, in a metaphor, because of
he's eating them.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I just realized too that shot after that scene and he's sitting there and there's the blood underneath the water, and then how does the sister die? The blood underneath the water. I was like, oh, interesting.
Foreshadowing.
Yeah. Right. I was like, oh, that's kind of cool actually. And that's that's what I think it is like you kind of do need to just go, well, Oliver is a very complex character in the sense that because of his own whatever the hell's going on with him, you will never really get to know who he truly is because he also doesn't really know himself. Mm-hmm. He wants and he wants and he wants, but it doesn't really feel like there's there is no why. He has a hole in him that he's just trying to fill. You know, and you know there will never be filling for that.
Yeah,
you could hope that maybe now with Saltburn that was the end goal and that was it, and now he's just going to be a weird he's going to turn into an old billionaire recluse that just lives in his mansion alone.
He's a fucked up Gatsby. That's what he is.
Yeah, you know, and you're hoping that okay, fine, you did all this damage to get this. Now just stay there. But.
Because, yeah, it's like, what is your end goal when you have that estate and all that money? Like, what do you really want to do with it? It's he wants it because he can't. It's
because he couldn't have it.
Yeah.
The same thing with, you know, I keep wanting to calling Felix, whatever. But it's like the same thing with Felix, you know. And if anyone ever tried to take that down, I think he'd burn it down with himself in it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Rosebud. Yeah. But I just think that, you know, once you sit there and you really think about who Oliver is and the kind of hollowness that he has, it does make it a more interesting movie. And it's kind of like, you know, like the Fight Club thing. It'd be interesting to sit there and rewatch it and really pick apart everything that he is saying.
Yeah.
With the idea of he is a liar. We know he's a liar from our very first interaction with the college professor. We have the big reveal that he lied about his parents, which I'm still really curious what the conversation with his mother was, where he pretended his dad died.
Yeah, and I think that was more of a device for the audience in a sense of his mother called, he answered. Doesn't matter what that conversation was.
I think dad got hurt.
I don't even know if dad got hurt. I think he just got a phone call from his mom, and then we are led to believe that we know that he had a conversation with his mom. We're led to believe whatever he's going to say. It doesn't matter. It could have been like he was just waiting for a phone call from his mom at some point to then bring this up to Felix. So if Felix tracks his phone, he's like, "You never got a phone call from your mom. What are you talking about?"
What?
I don't know. I'm just trying to saying shit. Sorry.
Jesus.
I'm bleeding out of my arm right now.
Yeah, you've been bleeding for what's happening.
I just picked a scab on accident. But it was like the tiniest little scab.
Yeah, and it bleeds forever.
Yeah.
No, I think that I was trying to remember, but I can't now if dad had like a bandage anywhere. But I think that dad probably fell. And then because Oliver, that's the thing too, is he doesn't make up on the spot. He takes from real life, like the book list.
Fair. Okay.
So I think that he used that and then just kind of ran with it.
I see what you're saying.
You know,
I don't think it's necessary to know anyway, though, because
I'm just curious.
Yeah,
It'd be interesting to ask Emerald, like, what was the actual phone call?
that might be a thing what Barry knows.
Oh yeah, to use it kind of thing. Yeah. Yeah, and then the movie ends with
or
him,
nobody knows. If you go to the David Mamet way of acting and directing, well, what happened off screen doesn't matter. Doesn't or what is it's like happened off screen, so it's not part of the story.
And then the movie ends with Barry running around his house dancing naked, which I thought was
With his big sloshage flopping around.
which I thought was kind of the greatest scene in the entire movie. It was just so fucking weird. And it was like, this is a weird way to end the movie.
But it's all
It's
one
perfect way to end the movie.
Yeah.
And it shows his cavalier creepiness. Well, because it shows his joy. It's the first time we've really ever seen him have joy.
Fair, yeah.
As a character. He's butt naked. And he's doing, again, Patrick Bateman doing that flexing in the mirror, checking himself out thing. Does a line of coke while dancing naked. And really and that's the thing. It wasn't even dancing naked. He was really feeling himself, which is like, I think, very important to that scene. And then he's even looking at the family photos he still has up of the Cattons. The Cattons. Has the photos, and he's blowing kisses to them. And then it ends with him looking at their weird little shadow box toy thing, and he has all of their stones from their family tradition of putting someone that passed away in the river on the rock all displayed in center room. And you're like, this dude is a fucking psychopath.
Yep.
He just wiped out an entire family. Granted, whether or not you like them or think they deserve it, that's fine. You think they deserve it, but are you gonna do it? No, he did it.
Yeah.
And then he played the waiting game for 15 years for this fucking dad to die, to then swoop in on this woman who had a very traumatic experience bearing 2 children and now a husband.
Yeah.
Swoop in as this handsome, good-looking entrepreneur type just to be fucking murdered. And then he celebrates by dancing around naked doing cocaine. It's pretty impressive. Mm-hmm. It was a solid ending.
It's like, look what I did. Look what I have. And a light in the, just rubbing it in their ghost.
It really
face.
is. It's such a weird ending.
It's not the movie I was expecting it to be at all.
At all.
I thought it was like, I thought there was an orgy in it at some point. Someone told me that, I think, or I don't know.
Yeah, and I love how everyone I really love that everyone kept talking about the grave sex scene. And I was like, that literally is like the least upsetting thing in this movie to me.
Yeah.
It's very weird, but it's very quiet, and it shows this weird human side to him for a second.
Yeah.
Until the fucking. But when he's sitting there sobbing and having his moment, but when he starts to get undressed, you're like, But I don't know. The whole movie was full of terrible things. So that was not the...
Well, what's interesting is if you think about that scene, he's not having sex with Felix. He's having sex with the death of Felix.
Yeah, I mean, when I remember hearing that Barry just did that. I don't know how true that is. I would like to look into it, but I'm having this
That
memory.
would be fucking wild if that was just a random actor choice.
I remember reading or hearing something that he just kind of went
I don't know
for it.
about that because a couple of things about that. I'm going to debunk that just really quick because without anybody who is on that set, they need to sign a consent form to seeing genitalia.
That's true.
So if he was to just do that out of the fucking blue, that's how you get fired really damn quick. You get sued by a bunch of people.
Maybe it was the very, very last.
Unless it was a closed set and they're like, Barry,
do what you want.
Do what you want. It's just me. It's just Emerald and the director of photography and maybe a couple lighting gaffer guys. You know, that's all. It's just...
Oh, yeah.
What?
Barry revealed to Deadline that the scandalous scene was improvised. I wanted to see what Oliver would do next. I wanted to see what the next level obsession was. And by that, I mean I just wanted a camera to roll, not to kind of premiate or rehearse it. And what happened. It was on one tank, and I think it was right. It moved the story forward. So
there had to have been at least something of him stripping naked, like as a consent. For
oh,
people.
totally. I'm thinking the naked one thing, but I think that
him like having sex with it,
putting his dick in the dirt was that much. Time to put my dick on the table. Savage as fuck. I've been trying to remember who the fuck sings that song, and I can't for the life of me.
Have you just looked at those lyrics?
No, it's not fun though.
Fair.
You know, it doesn't work out your brain. I've been really trying to remember.
Sometimes you just got to look at the lyrics.
Sometimes. Savage as fuck. What are we at?
We're like 81. We should wrap it up.
Oh, wow. I don't know. 3.5? It still feels hollow to me. And that's kind of the point, though. It's kind of supposed to.
Yes.
This world is hollow.
3.5.
You think 3.5?
Yeah.
What were you first thinking?
Well, I just kind of went, okay, what would make it higher and what would make it lower? That's kind of how whenever you say a number, that's how I think about it.
Mm-hmm. I wanted to say a 4, but I just think it's a little...
No.
Just needs to be a little lower than that. It's pretty damn close.
Well, okay, also with me talking how I was bringing up like this whole like take out them as characters and think of them as ideas, that doesn't make good storytelling. It doesn't make a great movie. It doesn't make a good movie. And that's a big thing with Chekhov and Chekhovian stuff is that these characters are more representations of something than they are the character. Well, they are their characters. Again, when you have because I've written things kind of like this. I have an idea of a metaphor. My ruler play is like this. I have an idea for this metaphor about obsession, about how we obsess on one idea and it boxes us in, and we lose sight of ourselves until we are alone, and that's the only thing that we can do, and we forget about everybody else. I wrote this play. In my playwriting class, in my first couple of workshops with everybody, they were saying these two characters, it doesn't feel like these are people. These don't feel like they are characters. This sounds like an idea arguing with an idea. And I was like, that was the best note I ever got. And then 2 weeks later, I come back in with my rewrites, and I fleshed out some characters, because in my head, I had characters, but I wasn't doing a good job of showing them, writing them, presenting them. And then I came in and I had that, and they're like, okay, these are the characters now. Start flushing that out more. And then by the end of it, it was being submitted in to be played done at the a one-act play festival. Mine didn't get chosen though, but it was like it was like recommended to submit it because I had done it. I'd found this. I'd start with the idea of like fighting idea, and I created characters to represent these ideas. And that's what I feel like this is what Emerald Fennell had done. She had created this idea of obsession and seduction and vampirism, maybe, but like it's about horrible people and the obsession we have with them and the class division of that. And now we need to create interesting characters of what that is, which is why I think you're talking about the hollowness. And so, but since they don't become so much more memorable people, I guess, or extravagant, 3.5 is a good fit because I don't think it said anything new. It didn't say anything different. It didn't. It wasn't innovative in a film sense in a big way. I mean, innovative in a fucking dirt kind of way, but.
Well, no, I mean it's a really well crafted movie.
Yeah.
It just does feel hollow, and it's like it's really hard. It is it's another take on Cruel Intentions. You know?
But also again, like it is still very, very, very unclear what Oliver's motivation is. We have a lot of speculation about it, but what it truly, truly is and how it's represented in the film or presented isn't there.
No. But again, that also goes into because that's who Oliver is.
Yeah. And then the reveal of like, oh, there's been the bad guy the entire time. Sometimes I can feel hokey to people,
Yeah, it was cool. And then that's the thing. The initial was like, oh, and then, wait a minute. Huh?
I was starting to feel something about Oliver before Felix was like, let me get you to your parents. Like I kept remembering like him smoking, watching Felix through the window. And just like there was something off about Oliver, but I was convinced that he did come from the family that he was talking about.
Yeah, well, because again, you didn't have any reason to think otherwise.
Otherwise, yeah. So then when Felix is taking him to his mom and he's having this panic attack about it, I was like,
I kind of called bullshit when he talked about making his mom throw up.
fair. I mean,
It felt heavy-handed.
That's fair.
It's kind of like, like the vet thing. People that are in war don't talk about it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that like weird stereotype rule or whatever. That's what it kind of felt like.
This feels like this is like a moment in a show where somebody would reveal this.
Yeah. Like,
but again, we're now in a movie. This is a moment in a movie where he's revealing this.
Yeah. So it's kind of, but there was something about it that I was like, that's a weirdly.
You know what's wild to think about? There's so many people in this world that will just compulsively lie about stuff like that. Of their growing up or whatever to make them seem like a more interesting person.
Yeah, and I get it.
Or to make them seem...
I get it to a certain age.
Or to make them... it's like sometimes like a trauma pissing contest, you know?
Well,
you ever seen two fucking people go to that? It's like, well I had this happen. Well, I had this happen to me.
I think what it is especially in the college age, and like you may not agree with it, but you do need to like go. It kind of makes sense. You're taking what basically is a child. They're an adult now, quote unquote. They're not. They're still very young. You're taking them, and especially in the college world, you're throwing them into a possibly completely new state or even a new country, depending on if you're going to Oxford or whatever. But you're throwing them in this whole new environment, and the whole idea is that this is when you find yourself and remake yourself. And some people just
remake themselves,
look back and realize. Don't feel interested. They're, and they're kids. They feel insecure. They don't feel like they're interesting. So it does make sense to a certain point to be like, fudge it up a little bit, fluff it, make it a little more interesting. But when you start to get past that and you're now meeting an adult and they're still doing that, that's when you're like, look at that. When
Arrested Development, yeah.
When Oliver first was doing it, it seemed totally harmless, but then he went past that, and then the whole, like even the first lie about his parents being drug addict drunks, it was this way of making himself more interesting. But then he really doubled down and committed to killing his father in this narrative, who was very much alive. Mm-hmm. That's where you're like, you're committed.
You're a psycho.
You're really committed to this thing that, unless you plan on killing your dad, there's no way to guarantee this isn't going to get out. But yeah, so 3.5, I think.
We need to wrap up. We're at like 88.
Yeah, no.
I'm
just counting.
3.5.
And what are we doing next week? The Substance?
Yeah, we're doing The Substance next week. Demi Moore. She's nominated? Or did she win Golden Globe or something?
She's nominated for something, but I don't remember what. But I've been very interested in watching this movie for a while.
Yeah.
Because I haven't seen her.
And somehow we kind of fell this block into like a weird, like, psychological indie thinker movies.
Yeah. Well, it's just movies that we wanted to see. And they are all kind of in that. Because what did we start with? I don't remember anymore. We did White Noise, and then what did we do before that? Licorice Pizza. Yeah. All these kind of weird little indie stuff. So yeah.
Indie, quote unquote.
Quote unquote. Yeah. Indie feeling. So yeah, follow us on Instagram, and my thing got really jacked up here.
You want to do a Connect the Stars first?
Oh yeah. I had that open already.
Who are we connecting to next week, Tommy? Tell me.
The first one that came up was Rachel Weisz and Winona Ryder.
Rachel Weisz or Winona Ryder.
What do you feel about that?
I'm trying not to think about it.
Okay, so is that who we're doing? Let's just do
that.
Cool. So yeah, so this week we're going to be doing Rachel Weisz to Winona Ryder, and see the smaller amount of connections we can come up with. Follow us on Instagram and Facebook. On all of our posts up there, you will see what we're doing in the coming weeks. On there is a Linktree link that will take you to all of our posts and what's coming up. So tell your friends, play the game. Let us know what you thought of this movie. And all in all, for the people that recommended it to us, I did like it. It was a pretty fun ride.
I want to talk to you about it.
Yeah, I would like to talk to you about it. This is Tommy.
Come hang out. This is Jacob.
This is Tommy and Jacob's mixtape.
Sorry, I was somewhere else and thought, and you started that, and then this is happening now.
Bye. What the fuck did I do to this?